is it. Today marks the final show of the season and the 2025-26 school year for Torch Sports. It's senior day, so all of our graduating seniors will be present on the set, and we may even take a trip down memory lane as we come close to the show. But first, it's time to get down to business as Lucas Reisweber, Dominic Spezia, and Jeremy Knott II bring you today's Lady Volunteer Softball Update. Now, it's been quite an eventful week so far for the Tennessee Lady Volunteers as they're now down to the final weekend series before the SEC tournament. To recap, the Big Orange took 2 games out of 3 against the Alabama Crimson Tide in Sherry Parker Lee Stadium this past weekend. Taylor Hawley and Emma Clark showed dominance at the plate with 7 combined hits and 3 runs in the series. And Carlin Pickens on the mound racked up an impressive 11 total strikeouts in the final series game on Monday. Now, one stop remains on the season for the Lady Volunteers in the regular season, and that is Columbia, Missouri, to take on the Missouri Tigers. And Game 1 concluded just last night, which resulted in an opening win for Tennessee and a 3-1 final score over Mizzou. Now, you've got to imagine, with the stretch of wins, the SEC wins that Tennessee has been on, they got to assume that momentum is on their side.
Speaking of momentum, the one person that has it, Alana Leach. Last night, 3 for 3 with a very crucial solo home run in the top of the 6th inning to give them some much-needed insurance to push them over the top with that 3-1 victory. Speaking about that power, it's trending upwards in the last month. 7 of her 12 home runs have come in the last 30 days.
Wow. Yeah, no, I mean, consistency is a big thing, and that's especially for Tennessee. They're 15-7 in the conference. Going into the SEC tournament, that's going to come in big. Now, I want to go ahead and talk about the pitching. The pitching for Tennessee has really been the story, especially within the last few weeks or so. When you have someone like Carlin Pickens, you know, has that world record. Erin Newer has the consistency. She can keep them. We got a 14-1 record for her. But Sage Margetko holds the lowest ERA out of anyone, 0.92 ERA. She knows how to keep the opponents off of the bases, off of the home plate, off the scoreboard. Now, against their series against Alabama, that second game, Sage posted, total game, 7 innings. 7 innings pitched, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks, 1 hit allowed. She gave Alabama their first shutout of the season. Now, that's impressive, especially against Alabama, who's, high caliber team all season. So I feel like when the pitching is in, when Margetko, she had a rough game, against Mizzou. That's to be expected. We haven't reached that tournament level yet, but when you have consistency in the pitching, that's exactly what Tennessee needs to win. Now, even though she had a rough game, Carlin Pickens was able to come in, seal the deal for Tennessee, and really shut down Mizzou after that first inning. Yeah,
transitioning into my next point, I want to talk more about the pitching and more specifically Carlin Pickens, because everybody thought it would be tough for Carlin Pickens to back up that 11 strikeout game she had against Alabama, and last time against Mizzou, 9 strikeouts. So Tennessee's already at the top of the SEC, or near the top in terms of pitching, and Carlin Pickens is a big reason for that.
Yeah, she has 23 Ks in the last 3 SEC outings. So she really puts the K in Carlin Pickens. And the Lady Vols, they're going to need that going into postseason play, where Carlin Pickens, she's really just the heartbeat of this team. As long as she's pitching well, the Lady Vols will have a pulse.
I do want to say that she has been great for Tennessee. She has been great. She has the speed. She has the strikeouts. However, I feel like Carlin Pickens isn't necessarily the pitcher that you want to be pitching an entire game. I think that when you have Sage Margetko, Erin Newer, I mean, these players really know how to keep it consistent throughout, a multitude of innings. And I think having Carlin Pickens ready to go at the end of the game to really post up those strikeouts and keep the opposition from even just touching the ball, period, I think that's extremely important. So if they can have those first 2 pitchers really throw in heat in the first few innings, you have someone like Carlin Pickens to come in after that, I think it's game over, especially going into the SEC tournament.
Yeah, it's been a very impressive performance for Tennessee in this first game against Mizzou. Now 2 more games for the regular season before they move on to the SEC tournament in Lexington, Kentucky. So head coach Karen Wakely is going to make sure that her Lady Volunteers are ready to go for that big tournament. Now, before we head into break, several Tennessee football Volunteers began the next chapter of their careers and their lives at the 2026 NFL Draft in Pittsburgh. And our very own Carmen Rivera gives us the update. Carmen?
Yes, that's right. The NFL draft class was this past weekend, and we saw a new group of VFLs entering the NFL. Some of them went drafted, others did not get drafted. Joey Aguilar did not get drafted, unfortunately, but he did sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars, where he will join Trevor Lawrence, who is a Knoxville native. Now, the first player to get picked up out of Tennessee for this NFL draft class 2026 was Colton Hood. He was picked up in the second round, 37th pick overall, to the New York Giants, where he will join Arvell Reese out of Ohio State and fellow VFL Jalen Hyatt, who is no stranger around here on Rocky Top. Now, Colton did share with us what this special moment meant for him. Let's take a look.
It felt great, hearing my name called on draft night. Still feels kind of surreal, just knowing I'm about to get to live my dream of playing in the NFL. But, it was a great feeling, and I'm really excited. I got the opportunity to start it off for my other Bull teammates that got drafted. Shout out to them boys, and, we're going to put on for the league, so go Bulls.
We are so proud of Colton. Then the next player picked up, Chris Brazzell II in the third round, 83rd pick by the Carolina Panthers. Joshua Josephs went in the fifth round, 147th pick to the Washington Commanders. And Tyree West rounded out Tennessee's NFL draft class for 2026, going into the seventh round, 222nd pick to the Detroit Lions, where he will join Jahmyr Gibbs. Now, finally, the man of the hour, the most anticipated pick coming out of Tennessee, Jermod McCoy, who was even considered one of Mel Kiper's best available going into second round. Jermod saw his draft stock fall because of that ACL injury he did sustain in early 2025. Despite all that, Jermod did come off of an All-SEC 2024 season. He still participated in the NFL Draft Combine for 2026, but his participation was very limited. But he still did run that 40-yard dash in 4.38 seconds, and he was picked up in the fourth round, pick number 101, where he will join Fernando Mendoza. We are so proud of all the VFLs and the NFL. What can I say? We are well represented. That's it from me at the Terrace. Back to you, Jeremy, at the desk.
Thank you very much, Carmen, and we wish these newly drafted volunteers the very best in their professional football careers. Well, that will conclude this first segment of Torch Sports Today, but don't you worry, guys, because Lucas, Dominic, and I will be back later on in the show. But for now, it's time to hand the ball off, so to speak, to our very own Alexi Cowan and Luke Attal with some big news about a big story that's been in the works for several months. So, Alexi, Luke, take it away.
Thank you, Jeremy. About a year and a half ago, I heard about Grayson, and his story blew me away. At the beginning of this school year, we hopped on a Zoom call and asked the Pope family if we could tell their story.
Throughout the year, we've worked on a mini documentary to highlight the walking miracle that Grayson Pope is. Time to take a look.
Gray's always been athletic, even at the age of 4. He's always got the game, he's always understood the game.
The reputation of Grayson Pope has been all over this town for a lot of years.
He's always loved ball. I think that was his third word. I think it was dada and then ball.
Let me just say it the way it was first said to me. This kid Grayson's a freak athlete.
Never crossed my mind in a million years what was about to happen.
We all run over there and we see him unconscious in the cart.
For 42 days, he was in a coma.
To this very day, Grayson's story is an absolute miracle.
I'm doing great. Couldn't be better.
Well, we will be premiering the documentary for the first time this Wednesday, May 6th at 7 p.m. in the Hodges Library Auditorium.
Everyone is welcome to come watch and celebrate with us. We're glad to be done with it and we're ready to watch it. We'll send it back over to Allie.
Thank you so much, guys. What an amazing story. And we are also excited to see it premiere next week. Now, following the theme of Grayson Pope, let's talk Vol baseball. After a defeating loss on Thursday, Tennessee found a way to win the series against Alabama. Starting pitcher Tegan Coons pitched an 8-inning complete game, accompanied by a powerful performance from the bats to rule the Crimson Tide 10-0 in Game 2 of the series, followed by an 11-4 win later that afternoon and a 2-run home run performance from Blaine Brown. The Vols are back in the win column. So how did this happen? What did you guys see this past weekend, beginning with you, Drea?
I mean, we have to start with, the bounce back. It was all about response instead of, in the reset. Instead of spiraling, these guys flipped it, okay? Tegan Coons pitched 8 innings. I mean, obvious complete control with a 10-0 run rule. You could feel the momentum after that shutout, and when your starter goes that deep, it settles everything.
Great points there, Lewis.
Yeah, guys, and you mentioned Tegan Coons. I think one of his best performances, if not his best performance in the orange and white to this point in his career. And that was a big part of it in game one. Obviously, 8 innings through, a shutout involves run rule Alabama, which is something you always want to hear. And but then in the second game, the bullpen really, in my opinion, was the deciding factor and the factor that made Tennessee come out on top. Bo Rudy comes in to close things out and really shuts down Alabama's offense. And on the offensive side for Tennessee, 21 runs over a 2-game span in a doubleheader on the same day. No team in the country is going to keep up with that offensive firepower that Tennessee had in games 2 and 3 of that series. Now, the question is, can Tennessee sustain that consistency for more than a week? They haven't done it for more than a week this entire season. We've seen flashes of what this team can be, but they've got to do it over and over again if they really want to be a contender in the SEC play and into regionals.
Yeah, good point. That is the question, and that will be put to the test again this weekend as the Vols head to Louisville, Kentucky to take on the Kentucky Wildcats. Now, Kentucky is 9-12 in the conference, but they're 17-5 at home. So will Tennessee be able to get another series win on the road this weekend?
Yeah, the Wildcats, a tough team to play at home. And it adds a little bit extra since Kentucky doesn't really like us very much. Obviously, everybody knows that. But this is the same scenario that Tennessee was in a couple of weeks ago, coming out of the Mississippi State series where they dominated Mississippi State, swept the series against the number 9 Bulldogs in Starkville. But then they came out in Lindsey Nelson Stadium the next weekend, and they looked terrible in games 1 and 2. They played great in game 3, but that doesn't matter when you lose the first 2 games. They looked bad. It's about the offensive consistency. It's about the pitching. Tennessee has to come out firing early, and that could give them a win this weekend.
I mean, yeah, the Vols, they can win this series, but it won't just be automatic. Consistency is one of the main key factors. And a couple of other things is the bats have to show up early. The Vols cannot show up late with game 2 out of 3 in the series. They have to set the tone in game 1. Another thing, if the pitching and bullpen, if Coons' level control continues, the Vols will be dangerous.
Yeah, great points there. And as you mentioned, Tegan Coons had a very impressive performance last weekend, getting named the Golden Spikes Award Player of the Week, along with D1 Baseball Player of the Week. So we'll be watching to see if he's able to continue that momentum. Now, what are our predictions for the performances this weekend? Are the Vols taking the series?
Allie, you know, it's interesting because we've done this over and over again, and it seems like Tennessee has had the same story throughout the entire season. I think this is the time it changes. I think Tennessee goes up to Kentucky, up to Lexington, where they are hated, and they get a couple of wins. I think they might lose 1. I think they get 2, and we get the series and start to build some real momentum.
I mean, it's 17. Kentucky is 17-5 at home. That's a pretty tough environment, but as long as the Vols keep consistency, they'll come out on top.
Well, we'll be watching, and you can check out Torch Sports UTK coverage for that series. Now, heading over to the court, women's tennis is heading to the NCAA tournament this weekend. Our own Ethan Price has an update for us ahead of the weekend. Ethan, what can we expect to see?
Yeah, Allie, thanks. Expect the Lady Vols to try and capitalize on trends. Tennessee's 33rd at-large NCAA tournament berth is also their 9th consecutive selection, a streak that dates back to 2017. Now, that streak is mostly due to the influence of head coach Allison Ojeda, who's never missed a tournament since taking the helm at Tennessee. Remember trends. In the last 2 seasons, the Lady Vols have made it all the way to the Elite 8, and in 2024, they made it to the Final 4 before losing to the eventual champions, Texas A&M. Now, when it comes to tournament play, their first test is against the Old Dominion Monarchs in the first round of the Durham Regionals. The Monarchs are on a 4-match win streak, and the big threat for Tennessee here will be 2025 Sunbelt player to watch, Kira Matushakina, who just delivered Old Dominion their 6th straight title conference on Sunday after a decisive singles match win. She is the only Monarch ranked in singles at spot number 100. On the other side, the Lady Vols will look to lean on freshman and number 11 national-ranked singles player Katrina Scott, as well as number 21 senior duo Catherine Alalia and Layla Britez-Riso to keep them afloat in doubles. This is an area they struggled with recently, and their SEC championship second-round loss to LSU on April 16th. In that game, the Lady Vols dropped the doubles point to the Tigers, so that's something they're going to have to avoid here today if they want to keep these tournament trends and their season alive. Should Tennessee take care of business, though, they'll face either the VCU Rams or the Duke Blue Devils tomorrow at 4 in the regional finals. That's all for women's tennis. Back to you at the desk, Allie.
Thanks, Ethan. Now, looking back, this year in athletics has sounded a bit different than in years past, and that's because there's a new voice. Mike Keith joined the Vol Network this year as the new voice of the Vols. Our own Sophie Starkey had the chance to sit down and learn how he got here.
If you know Mike, you know he is the GOAT. Beautiful job, Sophie. Welcome back to Torch Sports and us seniors' very last time at this desk. I'm your sports director, Alexi Cowan, along with your managing editor, Zach Pelfrey, Jordan Smitherman, and making his camera debut, the man that has made this show run for 4 years, your executive producer, Holland Hines. Guys, what are the feelings?
Sad. It's the last one. This is it.
It's really bittersweet. Sad to let this go.
I was coming into the day, I was like, yeah, we're going to celebrate, like, have fun. And then I came in here and I was like, oh.
I've already cried once. I think somebody's got a cry counter going on.
Probably.
But before we get to the emotional part, we have 4 seniors that have been here this whole time, and those seniors are on this desk. Since the show was named Torch Sports, meaning we have seen every high and low of this show. So next year's leadership team decided to clip together some of our funniest moments. We have not seen these, so please enjoy our live reactions.
Ole Miss is legit. They're well-rounded on defense and offense.
Do you think he's good enough to win them a championship, though?
We need to get to Jay, and then we need to get to volleyball. But for you, just name your surprising team and your underwhelming team.
All right, now,
oh gosh,
no correct answer to these questions,
No
okay?
correct? Okay.
You give me your best opinion, I will choose which one
So
of
you're
you
just like
is
the judge.
smarter and dumber, okay?
He talks a while.
You just interrupted.
Luke, you're gone.
No?
Who is the worst head coach in Tennessee history?
Come on.
Let me pull out my notes for that one.
A little playoff of Kiss, Marry, Kill here, okay? We have lifetime contract, a raise, and fire.
What?
Who do you have for the current coaches?
My favorite funny moment throughout doing everything this year is being in the back and listening to the worst takes I have ever heard in my life. I have heard some crazy takes, like we should lose the SEC tournament on purpose. Or, you know, like other brackets, like when y'all did the MLB playoffs, and then it all, you know, didn't turn out very great.
No, I thought the Orioles would at least win a game. They didn't.
Our own Zach Pelfrey and Luca Tau are currently at the site of the game to get a feel of the energy and the atmosphere surrounding this matchup in the ATL. Guys.
Thanks, Jeremy. We're out in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium right now, and I can already tell. I don't know. Talking too much. All right, 3, 2, 1. Thanks, Jeremy. We're out in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium right now. We have SEC. Okay, hold on. We're out in front of Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Well, you know, things happen, and that's
all
fine.
happens.
Look, they're having a great time, and.
I want to say that we're a lot more professional now, but that is far from the truth.
I don't even think that clip with me and Jack was that long ago, honestly.
We have learned to be more professional, I feel like.
Oh yeah, definitely. Luke and I in the car were so excited because that was the first live hit we've ever done, and we forgot to cut off the first 15 seconds of us messing up.
It's okay. Live TV.
It happens to the best of us. That is live TV.
Exactly.
Now, each of us did pick our favorite moment throughout our time in Torch, and I want to go through those, so let's see them.
It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So anybody that's hitting the panic button, stop. But I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't.
And with Gillespie, you can say whatever you want about him. Late game turnovers, he's not a true point guard, but he is the floor general for this team. You look at all these stats, he is making new ground for himself. First ever SEC player with 2 8-steal outings in league play, and first player in the SEC, second in last 30 years to have a 29-point, 9 assists, 3 steals in the NCAA tournament. So he's definitely stepped up when they've needed him most, and Tennessee, quite frankly, would not be here without the play of Jacoby Gillespie.
Aren't you a senior?
I got work. But you'll need this. Yeah.
Last episode, don't get in too much trouble.
Have a great day, sweetie.
Make the family name proud, okay? All right. Woo!
Gosh, I miss those seniors. That was the senior video.
Yeah.
That, you know, when we let those seniors go, and now it's us here at the table. Do you guys want to do any explanation of your favorite moments?
See, I wish I could go through the Torch archive because it's genuinely a pot of gold. But I didn't have the time to go through it, so then I just picked out my favorite moment. I had a little selfish moment, so yes.
As you should. Zach, I'm really interested about yours.
Really? Why?
Yeah.
Oh,
you weren't in it.
It's my favorite on-camera moment just because everybody looks so out of place together, and then the look on your face the entire time was pretty priceless.
Alexi was not comfortable.
I gotta say, that moment when the power cut out and we lost video was the funniest thing to me maybe ever. It was in the middle of a thunderstorm and we were all here on a Thursday night shooting a show, and we heard the building shake a couple times, and then bam, it was just gone.
That was one of my favorites. I was in the audio booth during that. Mine was when I was, quote, named sports director, got to send Riley off, and it was a selfish moment, I guess, for me as well, but that was kind of the point where I was like, you know, like, we're really going to do something. And from that point on, us and Luca Tau, we went straight into it, and we've gotten so much accomplished that we really strove to get done. But before we sign off for the last time, I want to give you guys the chance to say some final words. Zach, start us off.
Oh man, where do I begin? Torch Sports to me is a family. It's like what we've built here, like Alexi said at the start of the segment, like we were all in an office one day. We built this show from the ground up. This did not exist our freshman year. We all created it our sophomore year. And you know, from somebody who almost dropped out sophomore year to be surrounded by everybody in this room, to just keep the faith and hold on, and you know, things will grow and things will get better. Just to the family that we've created, the friends that I've made, the show that we've built, I wouldn't trade it for the world. It means so much to me.
Jordan?
Gosh, like this has been so valuable to me. I know like freshman year coming into sophomore year, I don't know, not like out of place, but it's like I need like some friends who like journalism, like sports, and I came here and like you guys were like that for me, and like all the friendships we've built over this time, seeing the highs and the lows. I remember like sitting in the office one time or somewhere in Scripps, I was like, oh, we're cooked. Like, what are we gonna do? We have no one supporting us. Like, where is this gonna go? Then seeing it go through the highs and lows, and I haven't taken a leadership part within Torch, but seeing you three absolutely crush it and like also be good human beings too, and seeing how hard you work at this and the reward that's come out of it has been so valuable. And it's been so valuable to me, Torch, and the growth and just making friends with everyone. It's just been the best time.
Jordan and I have been here on Torch Sports since I think the 4th week of our freshman year, back when this was called Sports Mecca. So, you know, a name change, and 4 years later, dozens of sleepless nights trying to get this show up. I think we made something pretty special, and I'm gonna miss it a lot.
My freshman year when I came to UT, that was the worst year of my life. I had no one. And this show is so special to me because these aren't just my coworkers, they're everything. They're my whole UT experience. The 3 sitting beside me, all of them back of house. This is my whole life. And just building this show together and arguing like dogs with you guys, it has been the most fun thing in the world. But that's our show.
Yeah,
That's
we
our
literally
show.
built this thing.
Before we sign off, let's get all the seniors to come behind us. We have so many seniors. Very emotional moment. You know what we've got to do to stay up to date on all things Tennessee athletics. Be sure to follow us on our social media, at Torch Sports UTK on Instagram and TikTok, and at Torch Sports_UTK on X. You will not see any of us on that Instagram probably from now on, but you will see a lot of your favorites. From all of us seniors, thank you for the memories. These have been the good old days. From Knoxville, we are your 2026 seniors. And that was Torch Sports. Peace.